I think this is working. Um, Let me know, like somebody comment if you guys see me on here and if it's working. And then we'll start. And if it is working, excuse me while I drink my coffee. I'm exhausted. Um, are we live? No? All right, well, I'll just start talking and hopefully it works. Hi guys, happy Friday. I hope your week was fun and successful and happy. And if it was rough, I hope you were able to deal with it and get through it. Mine was good. We went to Disneyland all day yesterday, and I'm so tired, but it was such an epic day. And then today was having both kids here with me, and so we went to the pool and went swimming, hence why I look like a drowned rat. But, you know, that's life. So anyways, I had you guys start posting your questions, and I started typing, and I was just, like, oh, like I feel like I can't really get into answering these questions. So I'm going to answer as many as I can get through. And if there's something that you guys are looking for, like a more in-depth answer, let me know and message me on here. You can even type in, if you're watching this live, you can type in here, like if you have something like a more specific question. But I also want to put out there that I do in-home visits, and if it is something, and you're local, or not even local, but if you're local, I can come in and, observe. But if you are further away, I can do Skype calls or over the phone visits. So anyways, we can talk more about that. But if it's something you're interested in, it is something that I offer. Is this working? I think this is working. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and jump right in. I don't know how long this is going to be, but like I said, as I'm talking, if you guys think of something, like I said, type it in the comments, and I think I'll be able to see it. I'm not totally sure, but I can do more of these if this is something that works well for you guys and is helpful. So, okay, so I had to take notes because I'm still figuring out how to do this. Okay, so the first one comment that I got was from Susie, and she was asking about, I think she said she had a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old, and she was talking about how she wanted her kids to get along better. She had a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old, and, typical sibling rivalry. And I think April, you had hopped on and was giving her some awesome advice and connecting and saying, yeah, I experienced this too. Sibling stuff can be hard because I think as a parent, or the adult, you want to get in and you want to play referee. And something that I've tried working with Luke and Olivia. So Olivia is going to be 6 in August and Luke is 3. And something that I've tried doing with them that's worked really well is I've just from a young age said to them when they're bickering, communicate. And then I'll explain to them. Part of communicating is listening. So, Livy, you say your part, and Lukey, and then you're going to listen. Lukey, you're going to listen to her. And then Luke, you're going to listen as Luke talks, and you guys communicate. And you need to come up with a solution on your own. And you can offer suggestions like, turn taking, or I need space. Hey, I just need some space right now. And that is okay. One thing I really am big on with these kids is, or any kids, is I'll always say, to my students when I've been working or whatever, I'll say to them, is it okay to be angry? And their answer is always no, it's not okay to be angry. And my answer back to them is, yes, it's okay to be angry. You're allowed to have your emotions. It's what you do with that emotion that is critical. And that's when it can hurt people. So it's giving them the space to have their emotion, but being able to effectively communicate it. Hey, you know what? I just need some space right now. Or I don't, when you say that to me and you're picking on me, like it doesn't make me feel good. Not yelling, not screaming, communicating. And honestly, this has worked pretty well for them. We were experiencing it this morning. They were fighting over a balloon and they looked at me and their mom like, okay, are you going to step in? And both mom and I were like, figure it out, like communicate, like come up with a solution together that you guys are both happy with. And they did. And it didn't take too long and they talked about it and it was such a beautiful thing to see. Obviously, like it's going to maybe take some practice, but I just think that that's a really cool way to approach it. Like, and, sit down and have, especially since your guys' kids are older and, they can grasp a little bit more, sit down and have a family meeting. And like, this is something that I do with clients when I come in is we sit down and we talk about the values that you guys have as individuals versus like, as a family. And we write down the things that are important to us or how much we value it. It's actually a really cool exercise. And, some people just need their space more, or some people are moody because of, this, that, or whatever. And you're allowed to have those emotions, but it's how you communicate. So I would say start with that. Maybe sit down with your kids and just say, okay, look, I noticed you guys are having a hard time getting along. We're home for summer, or you guys are going to be together more. What would you like to see, your brother do differently? Or what would you like to see your sister do differently? And have them talk it out and teach them the difference between communicating and arguing, but communicating part of it is listening. You need to hear what the other person is saying. And they get this concept, especially at 5, and 10, they're totally capable. And, when you give kids these platforms to let them speak their mind, especially as their parents, it's like, you'd be impressed with how much they run with it. So yeah, I hope that made sense. Like I said, I'm exhausted, but, I think communication is key, and you can practice with them too. Hey, you're not listening to me and I'm getting really frustrated and I hope that you're hearing me. I'm trying to communicate my feelings to you. And yeah, I've experienced it being super effective. So I would say give it a go, and if not, then let's try something else. Give me more specifics and we can sit down and try something, something different. But it's worked really well. It's just giving them that platform to have a voice and have their emotions. It's just what you do with it. So I hope that was helpful. Okay, so the next one was Sarah Rose, which congrats on your little man. He is so handsome and motherhood looks absolutely gorgeous on you. But she asked about one of my favorite, most important topics, working with families. And she was asking about, I think he's 5 or 6 weeks now. And she was asking about finding time for herself. And, I think all parents need to be better about this. But, as a new parent, that's really hard. And, it's her first child, although she's, a phenomenal teacher. It's different, So I think for me, it's writing down a list of the core things that I need to do. Because, working with kids or being around your children, teachers, whatever, it's depleting. And a lot of us get in these careers where we're depleted. And when we are depleted, we forget that we have to fill ourselves back up in order to keep giving. And the best way to give is through ourselves. So my advice to you, Sarah, is make a list. Write down maybe the top 5 to 10 things that really fill you up. So some of these things, this is just my list, and, do you. But, yoga is a huge thing. Being in nature is a huge thing for me. I get claustrophobic if I'm inside too much. Breathing, music, moving my body. Just any sort of self-care, like a face mask. And this is not just for moms. Dads, you need to do this too. and anybody who works with kids, teachers, like it's so crucial because you give all of yourself, and then there's nothing left for you, and it's an awful feeling. So Sarah, you live in the most amazing place in the world, good old New Zealand. Take a walk, breathe, take deep breaths, listen to some meditation. And the biggest thing with this is don't feel guilty. By you going and filling up yourself is the best thing you could do for your son, because then you're not running on empty. You cannot give to him if you have nothing left to give. It's important and crucial. And I think a lot of parents experience guilt, or teachers experience guilt, like, oh, well, I should be focusing on that. No. A car cannot keep moving if it has no gas. So it's the same thing for yourself. So maybe take some time and really write down, what it is that those small things you can do while, he's resting or whatever to fill yourself up. It could be writing, journaling, but really make it a point to do those things for yourself, and do it as best you can without feeling guilty, because you're becoming a better mom to him by doing those simple things for yourself. So, yeah, you got this, girl. He's beautiful. He's beautiful. Kat, hi, Kat. Kat is a phenomenal teacher. And I can't believe you have 3 17-month-olds. Like, oh my gosh. Transitioning has got to be really tough, but I think with stuff like that, and this is stuff I feel like you already know, but keeping it consistent, at 17 months, it's all about control with them. They're at that age where it's like their ego is just driving everything, and they're all about control. Make it a consistent morning routine. Music is always good. Find out, their special likes and make that available to them. If there's a sense of security within the space, if there's like a certain toy they like, make sure that's set up. I feel like this is all stuff that you know and are really good at, but sometimes you just need the reminder and the you got this, which I worked with you for a year, and girl, you got this. You are a great teacher. But I think with them, it's just keeping it consistent. 17 months is tough. So yeah, let me know if there's something more specific or if that was helpful. But like I said, I think sometimes we just need that, girl, you got this. You're so good at what you do. It's a gift. You know what you're doing. Okay, next is Amanda. You were asking about, bedtime cooperation. And then also tantruming. Okay, so bedtime routine can be tough. I think it's kind of the same thing here. It's consistency. I think it's harder for parents to be consistent because, again, you're exhausted, or, it's like your patience is so done at the end of the day. You've been at your job all day, or you've been with the kids all day, and it's like you have nothing left, so you're just like, whatever. But I think with something, if you're trying to make or break a habit, my number one best advice to you is be consistent, because they are going to push and manipulate and gain back the control any possible way that they can. And they can't be in control. They need to know. I refer to this as controlled control. And basically what that is you give the kids the control within a controlled environment. They need to know that they are not in charge. It makes them feel safe. I am the adult. I'm in charge of you. I will protect you. I'm here to keep you safe. That may not always make you happy, but that's my job. And they need that security. There's so much going on around them in their environment, and they're absorbing so much cognitively and growing and developing in so many different areas. They need the security, and part of that security is consistency. You have conversations. This is why you need to stay in your bed. You need to stay in your bed because your body is trying to grow right now, and you have to be big and strong to grow. And the best way that happens is when you go to sleep. And when you go to sleep, your body starts talking to each other. Okay, heart, let's pump blood so we could get more muscles, so we could grow taller. Explain it to them. They are able to understand so much more than we give them credit for. But explain it to them. Hey, this is what's going on, and you have to sleep in your bed so that your body can really grow and do what it needs to do. And not everybody agrees with the whole sticker chart thing, but I think that positive incentive works really well for some families. And some people are against it, and that's cool. But the little guy I work with, Luke, he was having a hard time. I'm like, let's do a sticker chart. It's positive reinforcement, matched with the words. And I really hope this is working. If one of you guys are watching this, you just comment that it's working so that I know, because I have no idea and I feel like I'm just rambling. Is it working? I don't know. Well, let's just keep it going. Anyways, so yeah, keep it consistent. I think sticker charts or any form of like positive reinforcement where they can see that they're working toward a goal is great. So I would say try that, but be consistent. That's huge. As for the tantruming, so she was asking me about her child was inflicting harm on themselves while they were tantruming, and that is concerning, just because they're feeling very out of control. I used to work as a behavioral therapist, and we would see a lot of this. Not saying that your child has, this, that, or the other. It's just, again, they're working with behaviors. And we did some really cool exercises. And behavioral therapy is such an awesome tool that I think doesn't get used enough. People are like, oh, well, that's for kids who are autistic or Asperger's, which it is. And it's a godsend for these kids and these families. But I use a lot of the techniques that I learned while I was doing behavioral therapy on kids now, and some adults too, where you're just like, you could use this, So, yeah, I would say maybe check out behavioral therapy. I don't remember where you're located, but if you're located in the Southern California area, I might be able to. Hi, Prisa. Hi, Catherine Gates. Hi, Ashley. Will you guys, if you guys can hear me and see me, will one of you guys just comment or thumbs up so I know that you guys can see me, because I have no idea if this is working. I'll get used to this, I promise. Oh yay, it's working. Woo woo. Thanks, Prisa. Anyways, yeah, if you're in the Southern California area, I can definitely help you, find some really good therapists around here. I have a pretty good network of people I could help you find. If not, I would say just hop on Yelp or Google and just start researching. Oh, look, Priest is sending you guys some too. Also, if you're local too, that's something that I don't mind coming in and doing in-home services with. But I'll have to look because I don't remember where you're located. But that's something I would definitely look into it further. Behavioral therapy. They're amazing. They do amazing work. So yeah, good luck. I was telling her behavioral therapy, Parisa, for like self-inflicting tantrums. Because, again, emotions are normal. We're all meant to have our emotions. It's how we deal with them. Another thing too, and this is like something that I feel like everybody could use, like I could use it, is like I call it, so I personally, and I have zero judgment, but I'm not a timeout person. I don't do timeout. I don't use it. I see how it works great for families, but that's just not something I do. I do, however, see the value in timeout because I put myself on timeouts. And basically, it's like what I was saying to Sarah, like give yourself a time to fill back up because you're feeling depleted for some reason or another, or you're hungry or whatever. And with kids, like I said, there's so much going on in their day. I get the concept of timeout, but I will tell my kids, let's take some dragon breaths. And I just call it a dragon breath because we breathe in and then we're going to breathe out all of our fire inside of our belly or whatever nerdy thing I come up with at the time, but it totally works. One of my kiddos I worked with a while ago, we created a Zen den, and it was so rad, and she helped create it, and she chose a space, and it was almost like she built a little fort. She put some books in there, and she put some soft pillows. A lot of times, these are all people, I'm like this too, when you're a highly emotional person, you're absorbing all the senses like a lot more intensely. So it's high sensory, it's connected. So calming, like I love really soft things. That's very calming. Put that in her Zen den. Let her create a space or him in this case, create a space that if he's, having a moment or a meltdown, like, hey, like, do you want to go chill in your Zen den? Like, would that make you feel better? And at the moment, they may be like, no, like, I just need to freak out right now. But that's something that I've done that's worked really cool. And like I said, like, I feel like I've created my own little Zen den. Like, I have a cool patio with my plants and, nerdy adult stuff. But, like, it actually works. Like, I go outside, look at the ocean. I'm like, okay, good. Here we go. So those are a couple of suggestions. Like I said, if you have more specific questions, let me know and we can talk a bit further about it. But those are just my, offhand suggestions. This one made my heart so happy. So my friend Kylie is having baby number 2. Kylie, like I saw this and cried. I just got tears of joy. I'm so happy for you. But she was asking about... Oh, good, Prisa. Yeah. Kylie was asking about, she was just not concerned, but wants to know what she could do for her. So her little boy, I want to say, is 3 or 4. His name's Zeke, I want to say. Sorry, guys. He'll be a big brother, and, it affects kids. But there's so many cool things we can do to help aid that transition. When it comes to if you already have a child or children and there's a new baby coming in. I think I actually just posted a video on my Ashley Granger Family Life Specialist page about this. And it was, I worked with a beautiful little girl in New Zealand, Maya. And a lot of it is, again, communicating, conversating, is that a word? I'm so tired. Let me get some more coffee. Hold on. Good Lord. Conversing, just, communicate with it. Listen to their feelings, explain to them, what you can. Read books, but something we did with her is, and Kylie, because you were there for this, is we did a lot of the way that kids learn between 1 to 5 or younger, whatever, but is through pretend play. And so I had set up this whole center for her one day, and we had buckets with soap and water and towels, and we got the baby dolls out, and it was supposed to be for Maya, but obviously I wasn't going to be the kids no. And all the kids got so into it. So we'd wash the babies with, soap and washcloths. And then we'd dry the babies. And then I was showing them how to diaper the babies and then rock the babies and feed the babies. And it was all through pretend play. Those kids loved it. And it was something that I had communicated back to her parents. I was like, hey, this is what I did. Include them. Again, Kylie, you know this. But include them as part of it. Have those conversations. Let them have their feelings about it. Like, I am angry that little brother or little sister's gonna be, oh, okay, well, why are you angry? Are you afraid that it's gonna take time away from you, mom and dad, or not gonna be like, just have those like real deep conversations. They're so capable of discussing. So, and then I think the big brother party is awesome. This is something when I worked in New Zealand that our center did that. Like, it was so cool, and it was something that I will always do. But they would have a day at school. For Maya, we had it, I think, right after her brother was born. Mom and dad brought baby Ethan in, and we had a whole party for her. She got to make a cake. She got to introduce the class to her brother. The kids asked her questions. She was 2 at the time, so they were little, and it just made her so proud to share, him. And she was part of it. And it wasn't that she was getting booted out. She was part of the family, but she's got this new title now of big sister. So that's always a really cool concept. And any way you can incorporate, pretend play when they're small like that is just it's always a good clutch tool. So Kylie, congratulations. I'm so happy for you, my friend. Okay. Shauna, you were asking about your little girl. I think I don't remember if you said 2 or 3, about hitting and hiding toys from friends. This is really typical behavior at this age. It's about control. When they're between, like I say, like a year and like 3.5, control is huge for them. Because again, there's so much going on for them developmentally. They've got cognitive, they're trying to understand everything. They're trying to develop language. They're trying to understand the emotions and then communicate theirs back. Their body's growing and it hurts and it's uncomfortable. And then they've got all these emotions, connected to it. It's a lot. So they want control. And so to me, I feel like give them the control, but it's within your boundaries and parameters. And a lot of times with kids who are not, like language isn't totally picking up yet, like it's still coming because like, again, and this is very normal. Sometimes like their comprehension is they're soaking in so much, but they're not able to verbalize yet because their body's doing so much developing at this age. They start to communicate in ways that it can access. Some kids hit, some kids yell, some kids bite, some kids whine, some kids cry. It's their way of communicating, and it's giving them the alternative to communicate instead of using physical connection. I'll use this example. I had a little girl who used to be my classroom biter, and I was observing her. At the time, she was a year old, and she would bite everybody. And so I started observing her and shadowing her on why is she biting? Like, they don't do it because they're mean-spirited humans. Like, there's always a method to their madness. There's a reason why. And I noticed that she was biting when we were in circle time and it was loud and chaotic. And if people got in her space or it startled her, she would bite. So this little 1-year-old, I started teaching her to put her hand up and say just the word space. And however it came out was probably, space or whatever, space. And that was her way of communicating. I need space right now. And then changing up the environment, like when we would have circle time, she didn't need to sit in a circle. Like, you can sit back there and grab a toy and, that's fine. And they don't need to know to sit still at 1 year old. Like, as long as she would be still singing the song, she just needed her space. And she didn't understand how to say that yet. So it's our job as the adults to support that. So maybe that's something that would work with your daughter. Like, you're not allowed to hit. Hitting is not okay, but you are allowed to do say space or say I don't like that. Again, teach them to communicate. And then again, it gives them the control. Like, okay, well, I hear that I can't do that, but I can do all these other things. And so they're in control, but it's controlled control. You are not allowed to do this. This is not okay. But you are allowed to do these other things. So I would try that. I feel like the hiding toy, it's all so typical. You have nothing to worry about. Again, you just want to support her and, sharing at this age. Yeah, right. Like, they do not understand that, like, oh, if I give this to you, you're going to give it back to me. No. Like, that is theirs, and they are going to hold on to it for dear life. And actually, I could give her mad kudos for going and hiding it. That's kind of genius. But typical behaviors, again, just talk to her. Hey, like, we're not going to hide toys, but, like, I'm not one to be like, oh, you need to share this toy. I like to encourage, like, you can, like, I'll tell Luke, like, you can say to that kid, like, hey, when I'm done using this, you can have a turn, or hey, let's trade. Because I don't think it's fair to ask a kid to give up something that they're enjoying and in the moment with, but, like, teaching them that, like, hey, but when I'm done, like, I'll offer it to you. That's cool. So, yeah. But super typical, nothing to worry about. Again, if you have more specific questions, let me know, and let me know if that works or if it was helpful. Hopefully it is. Lucy, she was asking me about her little guy who's so cute, about all of a sudden he's becoming a picky eater. And I think he's just over a year old. I think you wrote it, but I was taking notes. And she asked if this is typical behavior, and all of you parents can answer, yes, this is so typical. Their palate is developing at this time, and also, like I was saying before, a lot of sensory is developing at this time, and one of our 5 senses is taste. So they're not just eating because they're hungry now. They're now feeling what food feels like, and textures and crunchiness, and they're understanding more like saltiness and sweet, and it's their palate evolving and their taste buds evolving, and there's certain things that they may not like that was like the only thing they would eat before, and that, like, Luke will eat 800 applesauces every single day if we let him. Like, it's just his jam. It's just what he likes. I don't let him eat 800 applesauces, don't worry. But anyways, so yeah, super normal. I would say just keep trying. But this, again, and another part of this is control at this age. They're, like, starting to realize, like, oh, I can control this. Like, I don't have to eat this if I want, and I could throw a fit, or I can resist, or it's normal. It's the thing for me, like, working with these kids, that was the most frustrating to be. He would be like, I want an egg. So I'd, like, make him an egg. Okay, here you go. And I don't like it. And I was just like, oh. That's when you take a breath and realize, like, okay, like, it's gonna be all right. Yeah, it's just normal, typical behavior. But hopefully that clears up a little bit why. Like, he's not doing it just to drive you insane and make you want to pull out your hair. Like, it literally is his body evolving. So, which is good. Yay. Yeah, so, but happy for you. He's so cute, you and Matt. Okay, so those are the questions I got asked on that post. But then today I posted something about, post something that people judge you on. And I think this is so funny because, not funny, but relevant because, it's human nature to make observations, and we can, sometimes judge, but for me, like, I try my best not to, because I wouldn't want somebody to judge me. But, it's like, I'm always with, like, all the, like, moms at the park, or today I was with the moms at the pool, and I hear them talking about their nannies, and it's just like, okay, again, it's human nature, I get it, but, yeah, like, we all pass judgment, but it was a kind of, my intention of posting that was to say it out loud, like, own that, like, this is how you're feeling. And then, maybe somebody posted something and you're like, oh, I totally judged somebody on that. And to understand the other side of it. So there was just a few that I wanted to go over real quick, and then I think I'm going to end this. Hopefully, again, this is working. I see a few of you. Hi, Sarah. How's Archie? And hi, Kelly. How's your little man, Jax? I feel like I know all of your children because of social media. It's kind of amazing, and I want to play with all of them. Okay, so the first one is Bree. She was asking me about her little girl, Taylor. So cute. She looks like mini you, Bree, by the way. She was asking about getting rid of the pacifier and switching to a big girl bed. And this is tough, especially to do at the same time, because if that's her sense of comfort, and yes, Jacqueline's saying, or Jackie, I can't call you Jacqueline, is saying that mothers carry so much guilt as well. I think every parent does. It's just so natural. And it's okay to feel the guilt. We don't have to do anything with it. Just let it be. Like, you're allowed to feel guilty. Okay, sorry, Brie. Okay, so she was asking about the passy, and anytime kids have a comfort, tool, passy, blankie, stuffed animal, it's fine. But as they enter transitions, they're gonna naturally want to glom on to the whatever that tool is. So switching to something like a big girl bed, especially I think that you had said that she's a co-sleeper. I may, if I were you, wait to get rid of her passy until after that. And then when she's used to that, then, I mean, I've heard a bunch of stories. Luke he called his passy Mana. I want Mana. And he was obsessed. And I started noticing that because this is my only issue with passies. I think it's fine, but that they can, anytime that they suck on anything, it can start to mess with their palate, and which starts to mess with their speech, and it pushes their teeth forward. And then I think this is right, Crystal. Oh no, my battery's gonna die. Crystal will have to correct me, but it starts to mess with their speech because it pushes their teeth forward. It actually changes their palate. So, but it was crazy. So his little teeth were pushed forward, and then they went to a trip to Puerto Rico, and they said, oh, we left all the manas on the plane. And he was just like, okay. And his teeth totally just like straightened out on their own. Again, because they're developing so quickly. But don't feel guilty about it. Whatever. If that's the worst thing your kid is doing is having a passy, like, okay. So I would say switch to big bed first, then have the passy fairy come, or whatever cockamamie, or because I know you're pregnant, big sisters, we're going to have a party for you, and part of it is this big sister party, you got to get rid of your passy. Or obviously you could do it better than that, but yeah, you just get creative. Again, if you need more ideas, message me, and we can chat, because that part's easy. But switch to the bed first, let her keep the passy, and then give it the boot. Hope you're feeling well, by the way. Okay, I gotta go through these next three because my phone's gonna die. I didn't plan well. Amber, you were talking about homeschooling. Oh, girl. I am such... So Amber was talking about people judging her for homeschooling, and then they're putting her daughter, who I think is like, I want to say like 9, Olivia, into a charter school. I don't know if you're talking about people judging you for homeschooling. I think homeschooling is amazing if you are the type of person that has the patience to sit with, your kid, and as long as they're getting education about what they need to be a good human in this life, however that may be, do it. I've worked in the public school system, and I'll tell you what, I will be honest, and no judgment to people in the public school system because they're phenomenal teachers. I am friends with lots of them, but if I were to have kids today, I would homeschool in a heartbeat. After going and working in another country, I would homeschool. Unless you really are happy with schools and teachers out there. I'm friends with them. I know them. I've worked with them. Like, there's amazing. But I'm just saying, me personally, a lot of times people judge about something they don't know. And one of my best friends was homeschooled and all of her siblings, and she's a phenomenal human being. So I got your back on that. I am all about the homeschool. Tara, you were talking about there will be no Santa in your house. Like, that's just not your gig, or Disney princesses. Do you? I mean, however, it's your kid, it's your life. Why are you going to, support something and teach your kid something that you don't believe in? Doesn't make any sense. It's not harming her. I think as she gets older, because I know she's still little, it's conversations that will come up that, be prepared for, that because she's going to be going to school with other kids that, or be exposed to, stuff on TV, and just be prepared to communicate with her and have those conversations with her of why that's not in our house. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as it's being, talked about, it's all good. And then the last one that I'll do was from Susie again. She was talking about, and I think this is huge, is being a working parent and people judging her for that and not being able to go on field trips all the time, or that they go to after school care and, being judged for that. And my answer to you is every family is different. I was raised by, my working parents in 2 different households, and for the most part, I turned out fine. No, I'm just kidding. No, like this is your kid's normal. This is what they know. They don't know any different. If they say to you, Mom, or Dad, I'd like to spend more time with you. Hi, Allie. Then spend some good quality time with them. But unless they're complaining about it, they don't care. And again, I've worked as a counselor at after school programs. I've worked as a teacher. We're just part of those kids' family. And that's why it's so important to why I'm directing this. It's all people working with children, because teachers are with those kids, sometimes they see them more than they see their parents. And it's no shame. It's just the reality of it. But it takes a village, and they're on your kid's side and team to help raise them. And as long as you know that they're being surrounded by wonderful adults that are on the same page as you and supporting them, what's so wrong with that? It's going to make them more adaptable. There's definitely a lot of positives to them being around different, adults. There's nothing wrong with it, as long as they're happy. And if they do come at you with I just wish I could see you more, go spend quality time with them. Go do something really cool when you do get to. But it looks like you guys have a blast. I mean, I know you guys just moved to, I think, North Carolina, but you're doing what you have to do to live this life with this family, and it works for you guys. And if it doesn't work, then you have to relook at it and assess it. But if it's bothering somebody else, that's not your business, because who cares? It's working for you guys, and you have 2 happy kids. And, when it stops working again, that's when you make adjustments. You reach out, you talk about it, you call me, or whatever resources you need to. But nothing to be guilty about. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm sorry if I was babbling. I don't know if some of you were here at the beginning, but I was at Disneyland all day yesterday, and then we went to the pool, and I'm really exhausted. But that's life working with kids, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Let me know if this was something that was good for you guys. If it was helpful, if you guys benefited from it or learned something from it. If you have feedback for me, what is it called? Constructive criticism, please. I am just going with this. I don't have a plan of attack. I don't know what I'm doing. So if you guys have suggestions, let me know. If there's something that I talked about and you have a suggestion for one of the people on here, leave it in the comments. Again, this is a platform for all of us to help each other out. It's not just about me talking to you. So yeah, and let me know. We can start doing this more often, the Q&As. Again, if you guys have ideas, I just want to be a tool for you guys and an outlet. And, if you guys are feeling depleted or deflated or feeling judged, I want to be your cheerleader. It's normal, and you guys are doing great jobs, and you're doing the best you can. I I will give you one challenge, and I would say make sure that you do something for yourself this weekend or today or right now to fill up, whether it's taking 10 deep breaths, meditating, go like I do this all the time, no shame, go have a dance party in your room by yourself or have it with your kids or your spouse, whatever. Like do something that fills your heart that you haven't done in a while that makes you feel really good. So yeah, again, give me feedback, guys. Let me know if you want me to keep doing this because I'm cool with it if you are, if it's helpful. I hope you guys have a good weekend. If I don't respond this weekend, I'm going to be in the mountains going and filling myself up. So I will be back Monday, and we will keep on going on this journey together. I hope you guys all have a beautiful weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.